This is Boxing Tickets NI. We're here at Academy 1, and if we can hear the music in the background, it's like party time. You sort of think it's a Saturday night, but I'm sure it's party time for you as well, Jared. It hasn't been officially announced as yet, but obviously you're going to appear on probably the mega cards of mega cards in Belfast on the 2nd of December. And finally, obviously, getting it over the line, you and Rudy Farrell's finally going to get it on.
Yeah, mate, I'm buzzing about it. It's probably the biggest card from, your Ram Burnett's or maybe even Frampton and Windsor Park. It's a massive card, and I can't wait to get out on it and sort of show what I can do in front of a massive audience.
I guess when you sort of turn, you're sort of just past your debut, obviously, from obviously last year, and you sort of looked at it and you're thinking of the first 18 months of a pro. You'd have probably never imagined, obviously, you were going to get on an SSE card, but I guess that's boxing nowadays, isn't it? You put the hard work in, and obviously you gain the gratification out of appearing in big cards like this.
I mean, it's still not even a year yet from having my debut. It was the 21st of October, so we're still not even a year yet, and I think what I've done in a year, I've fought in a few of the Dunlop shows, I've fought on the Fela, and now this, I couldn't. If you had told me back then that was how I was going to pan out and go, I would have said you were lying. The sort of within my first 5 fights to fight on such a big card it's insane. Do you know what I mean? And I'm just I can't thank my manager Potty. He's like, from saying with him, everything's been great, and he's done a great job.
It's scary, obviously, when we start looking at the card. Conlan Gill, Tyrone and Lewis and Sean and Sam Maxwell and Keith Najarko and Troy Williamson, and now obviously a domestic fight in you and Rudy. Like, you couldn't have pictured probably a better card to sort of appear on. You could sort of going, well, I'm not on the card, I'm going to be there, and now I'm going to buy a ticket, I'm going to support obviously other lads that's there, but now to be on the card as well, like, these are the moments you box for.
Yeah, definitely, mate. It's like it's the premier promotion, like, isn't it? It's the top of the top, and it's just to get out in such a big card and in front of something like you've Eddie Hearn there, and you've a lot of people there that, if I wasn't fighting these cards, they wouldn't see me, and it's great for my profile to even get on this card and make a statement and hopefully stay on these cards.
Obviously, it's a big weekend, I guess. This weekend, obviously, three of the lads in the stable, it sort of nearly seems to be nowadays. It's like, what card doesn't appear? Obviously, with fighters in the card, but obviously, it's probably strange for you in here training with some of the lads sort of tapering down now for weighing in tomorrow. But it just doesn't stop, does it? I guess the good thing for you is you're there to support the lads on Saturday night, and then they become there to support you in 7 weeks' time in the SSE.
Yeah, definitely, mate. I've been in the last few weeks with them, and they're all flying. Do you know what I mean? I think 3 big wins are going to come on Saturday, and 2-3 new belts to the stable. You've Conor fighting for 2 and one fighting for 1. So, and hopefully again I get mines in 7 weeks' time. So it's the gym's buzzing, and yeah, it's sort of weird. I'm coming in and I'm starting to ramp up my camp as they're sort of toning theirs down, but it's just the way it is. We're like, realistically, we're always here training no matter what anyway, so it doesn't really matter that way. Do you know what I mean?
For obviously Conor, I guess, obviously, the whole length of time is sort of, you're coming into your 5th camp now, obviously, for fighting. Conor obviously has been there and been flogging it out and sort of wanting titles and everything else. Was that a good sort of education thing for you to see how he's adapted sort of, and where he's wanted titles and they haven't come? Where obviously it's now a case of he's waited long enough for 1, at 2's coming at once. So this will obviously mean a lot, not only to him, but obviously to everybody else, and obviously the stable here, when obviously he picks up 2 belts on Saturday night, you know what it means for him.
Definitely, like, Conor's more than ready for any of them belts, like, and he's bided his time, and he's now got his opportunity. That's what I'm saying. Like, anybody will tell you in here, a lot of us fucking like Conor's very. You learn a lot off Conor in here. Conor's done it all as an amateur. He's always, as a pro, he's sparring the number 1 in the world at his weight, and he's coming back here and we're all learning off him. So everybody here wants Conor to do well, and I think that he goes through this guy on Saturday night. I really do.
And obviously we Owen and Dago as well. It's a sort of strange one. It's sort of saying the off camera. It's like what people like. Obviously Dago's a very accomplished, obviously amateur, I think 12-time Irish champion. Owen, pretty much to yourself, obviously not a lot of amateur experience. I guess it's another one of these ones where people can go, forget about the amateur system. It's what you do as a pro, and Owen 12-0 so far, and back to the same venue, obviously get his one and only stoppage as well. I'm sure, they both wanted this underdog mentality. Going into the fight, nobody wants to be the favourite, so that puts more on them. But a very intriguing matchup on Saturday night.
Definitely. That's a great fight, like a cracking fight. I've actually, that's a fight that you lick your lips and you go, frig, it's the clash of styles. You've Owen, relentless, comes forward and can hit, can bang. A lot of people, before he knocked your man out last year, a lot of people wouldn't have put Owen down as a puncher. But now he's getting into this fight and people are going, if Owen hits him, he's gone. Do you know what I mean? If this was a year ago, that wouldn't be the case. So Owen just needs to land a punch, and Owen needs to find an opportunity. And Dako, everybody knows what they expect with him. He's been around for a long time. He's experienced. He's a good boxer, but Dako has to be good for a full 10 rounds. Owen has to be good for 1 second. Do you know what I mean? And that's where you're watching him. You can see there's a real bit between his teeth. Like he's getting great sparring here with Lee. I watched their sparring, it was a great spar. So I think Owen is more than prepared to go on and lift that title on Saturday night.
And obviously coming back then to yourself, obviously in 7 weeks, I'm not sure as to what way it's going to go. Obviously there's been a bit of beef between you and Rudy online. I think it probably all started through myself. Obviously I was doing the things for looking at, I think it was around this time last year, we're looking at domestic fights for Colin Gerfrey, and obviously a couple of days had passed and Rudy had sort of put it out for you and him. And at that stage, you were happy to go. That's sort of been building. It's sort of been building in some ways, which maybe makes it that you just can't wait to go. There doesn't need to necessarily be bad blood to a sort of degree, but does it sort of get to the stage now where you'll sort of block him out of sort of things that you can prepare for things without all the niceties starting to go on with it. I'm saying, all the best, good luck. I know some fighters sometimes will block people for a few weeks so they can't see what they're doing. Does that sort of mental aspect come into it now, or is there any hatred sort of between the two?
Not really, mate. At the end of the day, I've been preparing for Rudy for, I'd say, from July, really. Probably longer, June. Because when I took that fight in June, there was sort of talk of us fighting on the field. Obviously, that fell through. He had a child. So, listen, I'm by all that now. Do you know what I mean? I just want to fight him, and that's it. And listen, he's going to be in the same boat. And listen, the best man will win. That's going to be me. And listen, fair play to him. He's took the fight, and we're both going to get in there. And no matter what's said, no matter what's spoke before it doesn't really matter, because the thing about boxing is you're going to get in and we're going to settle it over how many rounds, and the best man's going to win. No matter how much shit talk's spoken, no matter what's said in the build-up, that's the thing about boxing. You're going to get in and we're all going to put it to bed and see what the crack is. You know what I mean?
You've obviously experienced them atmospheres of the SSE, obviously walking out with Paddy and things like that. You're obviously now going to make it yourself, and you probably couldn't have done it on a bigger platform, Matchroom and DAZN. It's going to be shown all around the world. So for you, as some part probably maybe over the next 7 weeks, is trying to control the nerves for yourself, because it's been easy for you sort of as part of someone's corner to obviously forget about the atmosphere, that it's not for you, it's for them. Whereas this time at the flicks, it's going to switch around and it's going to be yourself walking out to your music, obviously fans going mad. Are you prepared sort of for that, or is this what this next week, 7 weeks, is keeping you grounded?
Definitely, mate. Listen, I've said it before, no matter where you are, if it's in the SSE or it's in the Fela or it's in the Europa, the feelings of fighting are all the same. Do you know what I mean? Yes, there's bigger platforms that add that bit extra, but that's what the experience is there for. You're there to gain that experience, and that's what I'm saying. Like, we're all here, like every single one of us are here to get experience and progress on in our careers, and fighting on these big cards is a stepping stone to something even bigger. And yeah, 100%, the nerves are going to be there. Anybody that says there is no nerves, they're talking shit, you know what I mean? But again, the nerves are the exact same if you're fighting in the SSE or you're fighting in Europa. Even ask Conor, do you know what I mean? Conor's fought in the both, it's the same feeling. So yeah, listen, it's just about managing that. But again, any fighter will also tell you, once that bell goes, them nerves are gone, and it's, you get the punch each other in the face and anything can happen, do you know what I mean? So no matter what, mate, no matter where it is, you have to be switched on, do you know what I mean? And you have to turn up and you have to be mentally ready for a fight, and I'm going to be 100% ready.
It's obviously, as I guess the good thing is as well is when you're appearing in a Matchroom, DAZN, and obviously Colin Boxing obviously as well in association with the card, but this is an opportunity for you to sort of, I know you're managed by Paddy, but in hindsight obviously everybody would love to be on the biggest platforms all the time. Do you see this as a short window to keep yourself maybe regularly, you know, that you can maybe impress Eddie Hearn, or you can impress Jamie Conlan, and obviously get a promotional deal somewhere there as well? Do you sort of look at that aspect to go, this is my short window now, this is me to show the world what Jared Hughes is all about? Everybody knows you, friends and family, but it's now obviously putting yourself out there and showing people what you can do to take yourself to the next level.
100%. Like, this is my world title shot, really. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's fighters that box years and don't ever get this opportunity. Do you know what I mean? They box years in the amateurs, they turn pro, and they don't get the chance to fight on a card like this. So this is my world title shot. I'll be preparing to get a world title, because if I can impress here, as you said, it can open up doors promotionally and all the rest of it. And if, again, you know, I think obviously Conlan's sort of going to sign with Eddie. I don't know what the crack is, or it's a sort of thing. So Eddie will be back, and the matchroom will be back, and you want to sort of set a good example for them to go, we want him on the card again. So yeah, we're going to, as I'm saying, me and Paulie sat down and spoke that we need to make a statement. So, and that's what I intend to do.
So were you making a statement, obviously, is this what you're saying, obviously you're going to stop Rudy Farrell on the 2nd of December, or is it just making a statement in terms of your performance?
Making a statement in terms of my performance, whatever way that comes. If that's by a wide points win or stopping him. Do you know, again, it was the same as Owen O'Neill. Nobody's seen Owen as a puncher until he stepped up domestically, and I can sort of see that it can be the same. But again, he's going to be confident, I'm confident, we're going to get, no matter what's said, we're going to get in there and we're going to punch each other in the face, and I'm going to punch him more times than he punches me. And that's just the end of it.
And obviously tickets as well. Obviously you've obviously been through selling tickets and stuff like that on shows. You're probably going to see people want tickets now because Matchroom are in town and everything else. So this gives you another opportunity as well to build that sort of aspect of it as well. Obviously Ballycastle, no doubt, will be behind you. Obviously tickets are starting from 40, working their way up to 300. I believe Matchroom are actually putting on free drink and food for the VIPs as well. So, you know, people might go, let's start Christmas early and have a VIP out in the SSE.
100%. Listen, you know, once these tickets are announced, it will sell out, just because of, it's sort of that UFC effect. It doesn't really matter who's fighting on it. It's just because it's them, it's going to sell out. Do you know what I mean? It's the UFC do the same. The UFC come into these places and just announce that they're here, and the shows sell out just because it's the UFC. I think Eddie Hearn shows are starting to get that. It's just his brand. Do you know what I mean? And it's Eddie Hearn, and these shows are going to roll in and they're going to sell out. So I'm glad that I've put a ticket order in, a big ticket order as well. I had a good response to tickets so far, so I'm buzzing.
You're not even announced yet either?
I'm not even announced yet, yeah. So as I'm saying, when Paddy had said yesterday about it, I'd put a ticket order out, and I got a good ticket order so far. So listen, this is my opportunity to show that, listen, I'm going to put a performance on, and listen, if I can show that I'm a ticket seller too, that always adds to the fact they want me back on a show. Do you know what I mean?
Well, look, well, obviously, thank you for your time. Obviously, 7 weeks are going to fly on, obviously, until we get to fight week. But I'm sure we'll obviously catch up with you in fight week. But obviously, I hope camp goes fantastic for you, and we'll catch up with you very soon.
Thank you very much, mate. Thank you.